As a reminder, I am using Windows 10 inside of a virtual machine on my Mac. I am doing this to show how to get started using a relatively fresh and clean operating system installation, and also because I love the pain of using Windows 10 in a virtual machine. Sad face. Okay, let's dive in. The first thing we need to do is grab Visual Studio Community from the website. Not Visual Studio Code, but Visual Studio. We can get the Community Edition. Just go up here and just Google for it. Visual Studio Community. All right, we want the 2019 Community Edition. Go ahead and download it. Once you have that, then resume this video. Okay, once you have the installer downloaded, go here and run the installer. And we need to configure it to build C++ apps. If you already have Visual Studio installed, but you're using it for JavaScript or C# or something else, but you don't have C++ installed, run the installer and set it up the way I'm about to show you once this thing launches in 10 minutes. So we have this here, Visual Studio Community 2019. Click the Modify button. And what we want to do is set it up for C++ development. So go to here, Desktop Development with C++. Make sure that's enabled. And what you want to configure, you're going to want Clang tools. You're going to want the address sanitizer. You're going to want IntelliCode. We don't need LiveShare. We don't need Test Adapter for Google Test. We do not need Boost.test. We need the latest V142 build tools. We don't need CMake. We need the profiling tools. We need the just-in-time debugger. We need this guy and we need this guy. All right, so set your thing up so that way it's got these. And then just click install while downloading. All right, once everything is installed, you can quit Visual Studio. The next step is to download the Juice framework, or sorry, not download, but clone the Juice framework. Okay, we always want to clone it so we have access to the repository history. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use fork, which is the Git GUI, to interact with this repository. So you can get that if you open your browser. You can grab that from fork.dev. It's available for Mac and for Windows, okay? So you can go ahead and grab it here. Download fork for Windows. Okay, once you've got fork installed, we need to configure it to store everything in our preferred location, any repositories that it clones, all that sort of thing. Launch fork, go to the File menu, go to Preferences, and we need to specify the default clone folder. I like to keep things in a folder called Programming. I have it right here on my desktop. I could move it somewhere else, but for the sake of this tutorial, it's right here on the desktop. So I just navigate to that, click this folder button, find where I'm gonna put it. Basically anything that I'm gonna clone is gonna go there. So I'm gonna put it on the desktop, Programming, like that. Select folder. Okay, now anything that I clone is gonna go into that folder in its own repository. Now we need to navigate to the Juice framework and get the URL for that. So open up your browser, open up a new tab, then visit github.com/juice-framework, WORK/JUCE in all caps. Here's the Juice framework. Now we need to click this code button right here, click the copy button, and go back to fork. And now we can do File, Clone. It's going to auto-populate this repository URL, and it's going to save it into the programming folder that we requested. Click the clone button and you will be downloading a copy of the Juice repository to your computer. Okay, cloned. All right, perfect. Now we have a copy of Juice on our computer. The next thing to do is to build the ProJuicer, which creates Juice projects for us. But before we do that, Juice is a pretty old framework. By default, the master branch or main branch is checked out. However, there have been several commits since the most recent branch. Spinning wheel. A lot of things have been fixed in the Juice framework since the master branch was last updated. So we want to check out the develop branch. Okay, so just double click right on origin/develop, and then it will prompt to create a branch and track the remote branch. Click the track button. Now we can open up ProJuicer and build it. Okay, so click on this open in button right here and choose Open in File Explorer. Now we need to navigate to the Extras, ProJuicer, navigate to Builds, Visual Studio 2019, and then we're going to open up this solution file. we can just go to the build menu and choose build solution. This is going to build Producer for us. Now we just need to wait for it to finish compiling. All right, build succeeded. Fantastic. We can close the Visual Studio project now. Now we can create a plugin project next. Navigate to the x64 folder, click on debug, click on app, and now we're looking for Producer.exe. There it is. All right, double click it to launch. Now, if this is the first time you are using Producer, it's gonna ask you to sign in. We wanna turn on GPL mode. If this is not the first time, you've probably already set it up. But normally what you will see, you'll go to the file menu, you will choose sign in. It'll show this thing. You can, if you have a Juice account, you can set that up, or you can enable GPL mode. Now GPL mode has the requirement that we make our projects open source. So yeah, make your project open source. Okay. In the Simple EQ project, a lot of people left comments that they created an audio application, or they were missing the plugin processor file. And that's because they created an audio application instead of a plugin, instead of a basic plugin. So for this, you definitely want to make sure, you are definitely going to want to make sure that you choose the plugin category and that you choose basic. All right, first thing that we need to do, we need to give it the name, Simple MB Comp, and then create project. Oh, I'm sorry, before you do that, if Producer says you need to set your paths because you had downloaded Juice to a directory that's not the standard directory it's expecting, go here under the file menu, go to global paths, and then customize these paths here. This is what I'm talking about. When you install it to the default location, it's expecting Juice to go in a folder on the root level of your hard drive. So obviously I put mine in this programming folder on the desktop, so that is not where my Juice folder is, and that is not where the modules folder is. So I'm going to click these three dots. I'm going to choose the Juice folder and then select folder. And I'm going to do the same thing for the modules. Go to the modules folder, select folder, and I can close this window now. All right, now I can create this. All right, I want to put this in my programming folder with Juice and the other stuff I've made. This is going to create the project. The next thing that we need to do is enable the plugin copy step. This is going to copy the plugin when we compile it to the folder that most hosts, Reaper, Cubase, Ableton, they're all looking for plugins in this one folder. So this is going to enable copying it there automatically.